Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing a bookshelf reorganization, unhaul, a lot of things, a bit of a mess. You may already notice behind me. This was very much a spur of the moment thing. I have been saying for ages that I want to move my bedroom around because I just was fed up of the way it was, and I said to my sister, I was like, yeah, I want to do that. I was like, oh, I'll force you to do it while you're off from work. And yesterday she was like, are we doing that? And I had no intention of actually doing it, but then I was like, yeah, let's do it. So it was very much spur of the moment. So I didn't even film before, which, as I said, it's in my previous videos what it was beforehand. So not the end of the world. Well, I still actually have some more fixing to do because I'm not 100% with these. I think I'm actually going to put the books that are on my TBR onto the shelves. So I still have a little bit of maneuvering to do. So I'm going to go through the piles because we're being ruthless. We're getting rid of stuff that I do not need. And I'm going to, gonna be ruthless, gonna clean everything, dust, hoover. I did dust the shelves yesterday, obviously. And then when I have all of that sorted, I'll come back, I'll give you a little show you around, and then I will go through my shelves and do a little unhaul and maybe put my TBR books on them. So yes, so stay tuned. This is gonna be fun. I have mostly finished cleaning my room. There's still a couple of small things I need to do, like my dresser and my wardrobe. Basically, that's kind of it. So I said I just quickly go through the room and we'll go through my shelves and see what I want to unhaul. So let's do it. So yeah, so when you walk in, we have my bookshelf over here. So this one is my YA stuff and also other genres. So we have romance and contemporary and nonfiction and sci-fi and all of that. I do keep all of my nostalgia books hidden behind, and they shall be staying there. Then I believe I have all of my Sims expansion packs. I have my Nintendo DS and all of the games. I have card games, and then I have CDs. Then moving along, then we have my shelf of CDs, and this is obviously the shelf that I want to change because it matches none of the furniture in my room. So I'm kind of thinking of getting another one of these. If you didn't realize, this is 2 bookshelves stacked on top of each other. So I'm kind of thinking of getting another one of the 4 ones and putting it right here. Because obviously it would be this high, so it'd be a little shorter, and then having all my CDs and stuff in there. We have Chapel, we have Boy by Luke Hemmings, and we have Young Blood by Five Sauce. Then what other CDs do I have? These were just ones that I used to fill up the space. I have Ariana Grande's first album, and I have Sweetener, I have Christina Perri, I have 2 One Direction albums, I have, as I said, Chapel Rowan, I have Future Nostalgia, I have Mayhem by Lady Gaga, I have Short and Sweet, and I have Sour, and I have Boy, and then I have all of Five Sauce albums. And then obviously I have the Eras Tour movie poster hidden back there, as well as all of my VIP stuff that I got. And then we have all of the Taylor Swift albums. To speak now the stolen version, because I do not know where that is. I have no idea what happened to it. Where did it go? Technically it belongs to my sister. Fearless, the stolen version, and 1989 were both my sisters, as well as Speak Now. But obviously I stole those from her, and we cannot find Speak Now. And I don't want to buy the stolen version, but also I want to have all of the CDs, so I might have to buy the stolen version again. And I know as soon as I buy it, I'm going to find it. So it's going to be very annoying. I have some electrics that I need to get rid of. So I'll have to wait for one of those, like, you know, things where you can drop off electrical stuff that doesn't work or whatever, to get rid of those. Then we have our wardrobe, which I'm not opening that because, as I said, I do actually still need to go through all of my clothes. But I don't think I should be getting rid of. I think there's a couple of pairs of shoes that are literally falling apart that I need to get rid of. But other than that, it should be fine. Also, this is my Shakespeare and Company bag, which says, I'm tired of people saying they don't have the time to read. I don't have time for anything else. At the top of my wardrobe, I have like Marvel, Charmed, some Disney stuff. This is the magic wand that I got when I went to Disneyland last year. I never actually showed you it in a video because I did film like a haul of all of the random stuff I bought while I was in Paris. Then I never posted it. Then we have my dresser, and I do love this dresser, but as you can see, it is literally peeling and falling apart. It is older than me, I'm pretty sure, or around the same age as me. Super sturdy. Like, it is good quality, obviously, but it is like peeling and kind of like doesn't, like, these are constantly falling off and I have to tighten them again and again and again, and I do just need to kind of get a new one. I need to go through my makeup because I'm sure some of that is like expired. I also have all of the Cosmic Beauty, except for I think there might be two that I don't have. I love their eyeshadow palette so much. I highly recommend. So I'm kind of thinking, so as I said, so I want a new bookshelf here, and then I want a new dresser, and I also kind of want to get rid of my bedside locker since it is no longer by my bedside because I can't fit it in there. So I'm kind of thinking if I could get like a dresser that is like longer than it, like a bit shorter than this one, but longer, hopefully the same like width, like I want it around this. But then if it was like just even like a drawer shorter, but went out a little further. So like obviously not the full way out as far as this, but like out to like here. That's kind of like what I'm thinking. And so then that way I can kind of, I'll have enough to put all of this stuff because I have like hoodies and pajamas and underwear, and then I have more. I have like hair dryer, and there's not actually that much, and jewelry. I have like hair dryer, jewelry, makeup, skincare. So obviously enough drawers for all of that stuff. And then on my locker, there's not actually too much stuff in here. Like the bottom two drawers are empty. It's only like on the top and in here, which is just like my bullet journal stuff. So like just, again, like I just need like one extra drawer so I can shove that stuff in it. And then I could get rid of the two of these things. Anyway, can you see the vision? We have my bed, and then underneath I just have like spare blankets and stuff, and like, you know, stuffed toys from when I was growing up and all of that. And then I have like, you know, miscellaneous. Everybody has a crap drawer. That is my crap drawer. Just random crap gets thrown in there. And then we have the bookshelves, guys. And I am kind of obsessed with them. I'm obsessed. So let's start at the top. So at the very top, we have some of my Wicked stuff. These I got when I actually went to see Wicked the last time. And also, they do work as sunglasses, but they do turn everything green. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. Then I got that for Secret Santa. I got that off my sister. I have actually not tried it. It is an eyeshadow palette. I've not tried it yet. And I should actually, you know, try it, its actual purpose, and not just have it as a display piece. But, and I have the Wicked popcorn bucket from when I went to see it in the cinema. Then, on the top of this one is my TBR, which I think we're gonna change. Also, please ignore the ceiling. We're gonna change this in a minute. Then we have all of the programs of all of the musicals I've seen. I have seen Wicked actually a third time, and it would fit in here in the order, but the program is too tall to fit on these shelves. And I'm thinking, so if I got the 4-piece one and put it down there, I would move all of my musical and kind of like spread it over the top. So then I would actually have this, you know, for books. That's what is in my mind. But anyway, if you've seen any of these, tell me which one is your favorite. The next one I'm up to see is 6 again. Books. So these are my oddly shaped books, let's call them. Like these are like US paperbacks or indie published. And so they are just like a tiny bit taller than my paperback. I am thinking of putting like all of these, so like which would not to here on a different shelf, and have like a fantasy romance shelf. But then the only thing is, I don't consider Small Miracle, I consider that cozy fantasy, but it does have like a little bit of a romance, but it's not like fantasy romance, romantasy, whatever you want to call it. Whereas like Witchwood not, and all of T. Kingfisher's romantasies are definitely. So like I would be separating them, but like, I think I would be fine with it. I would get over it. So I'm kind of thinking of creating a little shelf, also because I want the new covers of all of this stuff. So I'm going to be getting them all like again multiple times. So we go around and then down again, around again, and all the way to Z. And then we go into Schwab, because I did not put Schwab in alphabetical order because I have so many of her books. So I have Schwab paperbacks, and then we move into mostly Schwab hardbacks and special editions, but we also have the Santa Clara ones because they are a small bit shorter than most of the other hardbacks I have, so I put them there. And so then we have more and more and more Schwab all the way over here to here, and then we have my other special editions. So that is Witch King, Warm Hands of Ghosts, Bear and the Nightingale, the Winter Night Trilogy, Witchwood Not, Small Miracles, Regency Era Fairy Tales, To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods, of Jade and Dragons. I haven't read those two yet. Silver Honor Nightfall at the Court of Wanderers, obviously Assassin's Apprentice. I so badly want the Illumicrate editions, but I'm so afraid that they're going to sell out before General. Starling House, Sky on Fire, Scalaman series, Percy Jackson, Goddess of the River, 2 different editions of The Sword of Kaigan, Voyage of the Damned, I also haven't read that. I also actually haven't read that one. And then Houseman Castle. So that's it. But now I think it's unhaul time. So yes, I don't think, oh no, okay, I can get rid of that, I think. I don't think I'm going to continue this. It was a gift from Cassidy, and I did give it a 4-star. I do like it. It is a self-published book, but I don't see myself reading it. I will take the gift note out because I am emotionally attached to things that my friends get me. So I will have to keep the gift note. I have the special editions of this. Do I need the, no, I really like the paperback. That's why I went and I got the US paperback, because I think it's gorgeous. But I don't actually have the paperback of the second book. But also, do I need the paperback of the second book? We'll see. We'll wait until maybe if I read it and love it, I'll get the paperback. So yes, middle game, I'm keeping Gideon the Ninth, Howard the Ninth, and to buy Nona the Ninth. Same with Iron Crown and Shadowgate. I really love those. Obviously, the Sword of Kaigan is staying. As I said, these I'm probably going to move. We'll see in a minute though. And yeah, all of these will hopefully be getting moved. Small Miracles and Dragonflight. I'm going to keep this for the time being, but I think I have read 2 books of the Harper Hall trilogy, and I obviously haven't bought those physically, so I'm kind of thinking that I might like library, Scribd, wherever I can get them from, and not buy them all physically, because obviously it's a very long series. So I'm kind of thinking, but like for now I'm going to keep it, but I'm probably going to get rid of it eventually. I don't think there's anything on this shelf that I want to get rid of. I need to buy the 3rd book in this series. All of these were all 4 stars. These were 5 stars. Again, I do have the hardbacks, so I could get rid of these. And I also have the Fairly editions of these. But no, I'm going to keep them. These, despite the fact these are actually 4-star and these were 5 stars, I'm more inclined to get rid of these than I am to get rid of these. I think just because these are so bright and colorful, and so they're a bit different on my shelf, whereas these just blend in. In the future, I'll probably get rid of those. Honestly, if I could get rid of the last 2 books of this series, I would. But the first 4 I really like, and I am a completionist. The Broken Point is saying they have leftovers of this series, and I so badly want the special editions. I love this series. I was there before everybody else was. Love this series. Love this. Yeah, all of these are fine. All of these are fine. Obviously, Robin Hobb is going nowhere. Honestly, we might not be getting rid of anything, guys. Yeah, I want to reread those actually, and I need to read his new book, but I'm waiting for the paperback. Keeping those. This I will get rid of one day, but I'm keeping it purely because I'm doing a reading and ranking all of N.K. Jemisin's books, and as soon as I have that video done, I will get rid of this. The Poppy War, a part of me wants to get rid of it, but like there's no reason for it because it was a 4-star series for me. But I guess I don't really have any inclination to read it. So yes, then we have all of these. Grand. See, this has water damage, so not sure this will be the easiest to get rid of. I liked it. I think I gave it a 4-star, but it's didn't like impact me in any sort of a way. And it took me like, it was during like my big slump, and it took me about like 3 months to read this tiny book. Then I think this was a surprise last year, but it's not necessarily something I would reread, I don't think. So I think that can also go. Brandon Sanderson can stay. These can also go. I do want to continue the series, but my library has all of the ebooks, and that is actually how I read these 2 books. Despite the fact I own them physically, for some reason, I just did not like reading them physically, like the actual books. But the ebooks were fine. I did not like the audiobooks either. So I'm just like, I'm gonna get the rest from my library. I don't love the series that much, especially not enough to keep buying the series. Both of these were 3 stars. So I will continue the series, but I'm gonna do it through the library, so it's fine. I'll say this one, I'm not unsure about. I'm probably going to read the second book. I'll probably get the audiobook because I liked the audiobook of the first one. And if I like that more than this one, I'll keep it and maybe buy it. But if I don't, I'll probably get rid of it. Then these are all staying. I also want to get the second and third book in this series. I also want to get the second book in this series. And these are also staying. And then obviously we're not even touching the special editions. Obviously I need to try and read the ones that I haven't read yet, so I can decide whether I want them. So there's only like 4 of them left. I think I'm going to try and put my physical TBR on the shelves. So I used to have it where the books that I hadn't read yet were facing out, paged out. And so I think I'm going to try and do that again. But that is going to require more reorganizing. So let's do it, I guess. It is kind of ugly, but that is like kind of the purpose, because if they're ugly, I want to turn them around so the shelves look nice again. Therefore, I will read the books. That's how it works, yeah? I did take all of these off because these are all what I would consider like my fantasy romance, fairy tale, whatever you want to call them, books. And I want to put them somewhere else. I'm keeping the Rick Riordan for now, but like I'm probably going to get rid of them eventually, because I don't think I'm ever going to reread them. I am going to, like, despite the fact I already have the hard copy version, those are so destroyed, nobody could read those anyway. So those will always stay, and also because they're my favorites. But like all of the rest of them, they can go eventually. But also I'm ranking all of his books, so they can stay for now. Howl's Moving Castle can go because I do have the lovely Fairy Loot edition. So I am going to get rid of this one. But I do love this book. It is a 5-star, but I don't need that copy. So then we move on. So this is kind of like middle grade into YA. And we're gonna keep the Cassandra Clare because I'm emotionally attached to them. Also, this is kind of an alphabetical order. So Claire into Chepeko. These are staying. These are the book that I really liked about her. I wanted them to do the sequel with a matching color, please and thank you. Then we go down to Denard. Again, we're keeping. Can that fit in there? Yes, it can. Yay. Oop, there we go. And also, yes, all of my copies of the Witchland series are different editions, except for the final 2 that I have. We're keeping the Beautiful Luminary sprayed edges. Realistically, I probably shouldn't because I'm being very brutal when it comes to YA now, and only keeping series that like I have emotional like or nostalgic kind of a connection to, but I am keeping these because they are beautiful. Though I did like this series, it was fun, but like it's probably not a series I'm gonna reread, but I need to admire the sprayed edges for another little while. Raven Boys, emotionally attached to, that is staying. Here, I'm pretty sure everything can go off this shelf, except this and these. I mean, fantasy wise, I think all of these can go. I still do occasionally pick one up and I'm like, I see how this is so important. Like the one that I think of like off the top of my head, and also I actually have one here as well that I'll talk about, that like when I read it I was like, oh, I would have eaten this up as like a 15-16-year-old, but it just isn't I don't have that kind of a connection to it now, and that is Legendborn. And I see people talking about the sequels on Twitter all the time. I'm like, maybe I should read it again. Maybe I should continue. And it's like, no, because I just personally, like, when I read it, I was like, this just isn't my thing anymore. And I was like kind of sad, but like also it's good to acknowledge those things sometimes, that it's just not for you anymore. And the other ones that I feel about is like the We Hunt the Flame series that I have here, and it's why I've kept these so long, is when I read them, like, I think I only read it like maybe 3 years ago, the first one, and then like the second one like 2 years ago. I had the weirdest reading experience because I didn't love the book. I didn't love the story. It, you know, because I'd read a lot of things similar to it, or like plot wise, but there was like, I felt nostalgic reading it, like I was going back to a series that like I loved when I was younger and like revisiting it. But like I had never read these books like before. And so like I loved them for that reason, because it gave me that kind of like nostalgic feeling. But when I got to the end of the book, I was like, it's like 3-star though. Like I wasn't that emotionally invested or anything like that. And so like that's the experience I get a lot now when I'm reading YA. And it's why I'm not buying as much YA anymore. And so I think all of these can go, as I said, and I do love these and they're beautiful. And I do recommend, especially if you are still a YA reader or if you have someone who likes YA, I do definitely recommend these. But I don't need them on my shelves. Also same with The Tempest of Tea, but I will probably read the sequel, but I'll probably like get the ebook or the audiobook. I think my library actually recently got the audiobook for the first one, so maybe they'll get the audiobook for the second one as well. Not the Imperium Trilogy by Claire Legrand. This series took me way too long to read. I think I got the books in like 2020 and I only finished the last book last year. Which is unusual for me. I'm usually a lot better when it comes to clearing my TBR, but again, it was a book I waited too long to read it. By time I got, if I had read them when I got them, when I was like 18ish, they would have been perfect. They would have been the perfect. I would have loved them, been obsessed and whatever, because like they're like a very good bridge over between YA and adult, in my opinion. If you have someone in your life or you yourself, I'd be like, I want to give adult to fantasy like a go, or like I'm starting to go that way. I totally recommend that as like a kind of like good bridge. If I had read them when I first got them, I would have been obsessed with that series. Obsessed. But by the time I was reading them, I was like, I have read stuff that dealt with the themes so much better and, you know, more adult. And so it just didn't hit the same. Put it on and unravel the desk. And I'm going to be 100% honest, they've survived this long because they're so gorgeous. Like, look at them. They're so pretty. Even now, I'm kind of like, but what if I kept them? No. We're being brutal. These have got to go. So now that is all my YA fantasy, and majority of it is kind of literature. But like the thing is, I'm emotionally attached to those books. Those are never leaving me ever. In fairness, some of the newer stuff can totally leave me. Like I have what's the series? I like The Dark Artifices, and what's the last one? The Last Hours. Those could go eventually. I have them like hidden behind the other ones, The Infernal Devices and The Mortal Instruments. They're staying with me forever, guys. I also have the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black back there, and I don't really love that series, but I'm never getting rid of it because the first 2 books are signed and personalized to me, so they're also staying. John Green. So I suppose I will bring up all my YA contemporaries. Also, Nick and Charlie I could totally get rid of because I don't care about that whatsoever. But Radio Silence and Loveless, those will be staying with me for a long time, especially Radio Silence. But the rest of them I could kind of see myself getting rid of eventually, but for now we'll keep them. What else now can I fit in there though is the problem, because that's an awkward gap. Last Fado also belongs there, and I love that book. It's such a good one. Then I think maybe I'll move The Book Thief up, and maybe Sadie and House of Salt and Sorrow. I think those probably make the most sense. Like they're not really contemporary, but they're probably the best bets. Okay, so as I said, this is kind of like, is it fantasy? Is it contemporary? Then we have a contemporary. This is like kind of a thriller. This is historical fiction. Then we have like contemporaries. Also, this I'm probably gonna get rid of. I think I gave it 5 stars at the time, but I think I was delusional. So these were in the unhaul pile, but I took them out of the unhaul pile simply so I could make everything fit nicely in the shelf. So those are going back in the unhaul pile. I don't dislike her books, but I don't think I will ever reread them. Okay, so I don't think I'm getting rid of anything else. No, I'm not. But I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to organize them. because so I have nonfiction, I have contemporary romance, like YA sci-fi, dystopian, adult sci-fi, adult horror. So I don't know what to do. Okay, so I don't really love it, but this is the way it's going to be for the time being anyway. So as I said, so we start with our middle grade, which as I said, one day they shall go. Then we go into our YA, all the way down. That's the end of our YA fantasy. Then kind of YA fiction, let's call them. I wanted to go then into YA sci-fi, but it just didn't fit whatever way I was working it. So instead we go to horror, non-fiction, YA sci-fi, into adult sci-fi, then down into adult contemporary fiction, romance, into fantasy romance. And then I have space for the new beautiful covers of the Saint of Steel series. So yay! So yeah, so that is the end of this for now. I don't know, I still don't love the way my shelves are. Like, I have a vision in my mind and it's just not matching up. I have so many books I need to get rid of, and I need to get rid of them. So I am kind of thinking of actually just like bringing a load of some of the people I work with also read. So I am thinking of just like bringing, or like taking a picture and being like, hey, any of you want any of these? Go through all of the books that I'm getting rid of. So we have The Swordsman's Lament by G.M. White, Gods in Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I also gave this a 4-star actually. Juno Martin's War was also a 4-star, but we're being brutal. We Hunt the Flame. No, We Free the Stars. That's the second book. We Hunt the Flames is the first book. I do love these covers, but I will never reread them. I don't really think about them that often. I don't need them. A Tempest of Tea, also by Hafsa Faisal. Again, I think this was a 3-star. We have Daisy Jones and the Six and Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. These are obviously well loved, so they'll go to a better home. We have The Bone Stevenson and the Mime Order by Samantha Shannon, and I like these. I don't love them. Then we have House of Castle, which is a book that I actually do love, but I do not need a second copy of, which I could use that logic for a lot of other series that I didn't get rid of multiple editions of, but we're not going to talk about it. We have House of Salt and Sorrow by Erin A. Craig, a book that I gave 5 stars at the time, but I know for a fact I would hate it if I read it today, which is weird how that works. Then we have Spin the Dawn and Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. I purely kept these because the covers are so gorgeous. What a beautiful art style, but I do not need them. And then we have the Imperium trilogy by Claire Legrand, which is Furbound, Kingsbane, and Lightbringer. So yes, I think I get maybe all of it. No, I think I gave a 4-3 in this for each of that series. Also, I'm not sure what books I have gone and unhauled before in my like shoved in the back. So I'll quickly, I'm not reaching for all of them, but I'll name them out. So I have After the Forest by Kel Woods, The Principle of the Moments by Esme Jacemi Pearson, Fireborn by Rosario Munda, Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, Entire Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, Wicked as You Wish by Rin Chapeko, A Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan, have Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart, Daughter of No Worlds by Chris Broadbent, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, This Is How We Lose the Time War, Witch King, that is like the original hardcover, I have the special edition still, 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, the entire Scythe trilogy by Neil Shusterman, then we have The Phoenix Keeper, Dark and Drowning Tide, Fathom Folk, To Cage of God, and Mistress of Lies. All of those are Limerick Great books. So yes, so those are all of the books that are in the unhaul pile. That is so many books. And as I said, I think I'm going to just like take a picture of them and be like, hey, any of you want these? Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!